Hey everyone, this is big. I want everyone to download the Pick TV network on your Roku search bar. My brother David Evans is growing Pick TV fans, and I want us to help my brother blow up Pick TV. Boom! Click and play www.thepicktvnetwork.com. Bomb.
Hey there! Exciting news! Pick TV Network is on the lookout for talented short filmmakers like you to showcase your amazing work to the world. Imagine your short film being seen in barbershops, nail salons, bars, restaurants, clubs, churches, airports, sports stadiums, college dorms, and even on Roku TV in different languages across foreign countries. The Pick TV Short Film Channel is in need of hundreds of new short films every week, and they can't wait to feature yours. Just give them a call at 202-505-2837 or visit watchpicktv.com to get started. Get ready to share your creativity with Pick TV fans, movie directors, and producers who will be eagerly watching. This is your chance to shine.
Hey, Pick TV Network fans, this is Dr. David Evans, President of Pick TV Network. I have a hot show today. You know, The Preacher's Life is one of my pet shows that we created, and it talks about who impact to people all over the world. And today we have a special guest on. This is Pastor Rivers. I love him so much. This is my brother. We met about 3 or 4 years ago, and we've been trying to get a show on. And today it has finally happened. And he has been traveling all over the world. He has a ministry that he blesses people with on social media. And I love him. Today, he's going to be taking us across the world. He's going to show us some beautiful sights and that he has been over Tunisia, across the world. Tell somebody you need to look at this broadcast right now, Preacher's Life International Show. And I'm so happy today they have Reverend Rivers on, my good friend. Reverend Rivers, how you doing today, man of God?
Man, it's good, man. It's good. It's good to finally be here with you. You know, we've been trying to get this together, as you said, and today is that day, my friend.
Man, I love you so much, man. You know, it's certain people you meet, and then it seems like you've been connected all your life, man.
You know, the Bible talks about, spirit knows spirit, and yet when we got together in that moment, in that time, not knowing one another, but it was just a very instant click. You were talking about some things that you were needing, and I saw you before you even really said what you were doing, and I said, man, listen, I want to get on the broadcast, and it just started and grow from there.
Yeah, man, you sowed a seed, man, and that was 3 years ago. Now you're gonna reap a big harvest of it. Doc, let's talk a bit before we go international. Talk about some pictures about your calling, man. Tell everybody about how you was called into ministry.
I have a little bit of different calling for most other people. When I was about 6 years old, I got this call. I was in my house. My brother Solomon, my sister Wendy, we were always in the house. My mom, somebody's always in the house for some strange reason that nobody was there that day. And I was in bed and laying down, and I could hear the call. Not like God would just speak from heaven, but I could hear it in my spirit that, you need to come serve me, and I want you to come serve me. And, ever since then, I've been kind of on this track. But I will tell you the truth. When I heard it, I really didn't understand. I was kind of like Samuel. I heard the call, but I really didn't know. And then I didn't have nobody to kind of teach me, what do I do with this calling? What do I do with it? And then as you see the world, when you're growing up, when you're little, when you see the world, people in the world doing one thing, people in church doing another, then you see the church people in the world doing the same thing you're doing, and you go, well, why would I want to go to church and serve God when these people are doing the same thing I'm doing? And so it was that kind of thing. But when God calls you, the call is sure. And if you answer, trust me, the plan is going to end up where God is calling it to be. So it's been a journey. And I ran for about 20 years. And when I was in Sumter, South Carolina, visiting a client, I was just very tired. I was sick early that morning. I couldn't figure out why. And as I kept going on to Sumter, just things seemed to got worse. And finally, I got in a hotel. And I told my client I'm going to start tomorrow with them. And I heard the voice said to me again, another time, 20 years later, hey, you denied me 20 years ago. Now is the time. You denied me 20 years ago. Now is the time. 3 times. And at that point, I said, Father, I'm going to serve you. And I've been serving him ever since.
Man, that's a beautiful thing, man. And I'm so happy that you accepted the call. You didn't run from your call. A lot of
I was running for my life, man. I was running from my life.
I ran 3 years, man. I said, no, I don't want to do this, Lord. I was so nervous, man. And I embraced it. And it's 40 years later. So talk about your career, man. What was you doing before your calling or your career?
Sure. I went to school at DeVry. I didn't get a chance. I didn't finish it due to some other personal reasons. And, I got out. I knew I always wanted to have my own business. And so I met a friend of mine, very good friend. She and I were good friends, and her family in New York were doing international trade. And we talked with them, and they want to come to Atlanta and put us in business. And that didn't happen the way we expected it to. And so I ended up researching the business and wanted to know more about it. And the more I knew about it, the more I desired to be in it. I ended up getting I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was working, single, doing my thing. But I met this guy who was a consultant, and he said, well, it's $100 an hour. I said, well, look, what if I come for 1 hour and you charge me $50 for the 1 hour? I asked all my questions. And he said, okay, fine. But at 1 hour, I'm going to stop. And so I did that for a while, and he really put me in the saddle, and I learned a lot from him and learned how to frame my business. And then I took off from there, and I did that for 17 years. And it was a beautiful thing. That was my first time going to Africa. I went to Sierra Leone and Abidjan and did business there, sent a lot of products there. I lost my shirt because I really didn't understand how to do business in Africa. So I sent some things and then it got taken, and it hurt me pretty bad. But it only strengthened me to continue to do business. And I met a friend of mine who became like a father to me. His name was Charles Apuku, and he really kind of took me under his arms and said, listen, son, I'm going to show you the way to do business in Africa. And that was the start of me going into Africa and my career.
Oh, man, that's a beautiful testimony, man, to know that you have multiple gifts and talents that God bless you with. Now let's talk about the cost, man. What did it cost you? Some people say it cost me everything. Jesus said, "No man can have take up the cross." And what did it cost you, Doc?
Look, one thing I can tell you this, and anybody who is serious about ministry knows that this calling will cost you. It will cost you in different ways. One, it will cost you always to be at a place where the ministry will call you more than your personal life, right? And if you do not know how to balance that, if you worship the ministry instead of serve the ministry, then the ministry will cause some problems. I was the first one. I did so much in the ministry when I got called, when I got married. I spent so much time in the ministry that I didn't really pay my wife the attention that she needed to be. And the reason why my ministry is called Talk Ministries, and we'll talk about that later on, is because this is the kind of conversation that we must have, like real talk, right? And as a pastor, here I am serving people. Here I am going out to see people, visit people in the hospital, doing all these things. And yet, my ex-wife, I should say, when my ex-wife was calling me and needing me, I was defending that the people needed me, and yet the Bible didn't tell me that I was the one that's supposed to do all of that. I was supposed to first take care of my home And then all of that will come along with that. But by the time I realized that, it was just too late. And one of the things I told God, I never wanted to have a set of divorce papers in my file cabinet. And yet today I do have them. And at the moment when it happened, I thought that this was the worst thing ever. I almost died in 2016. That was not the worst thing. Having divorce was the worst thing that I've ever had. So it cost me. And God confirmed that thing with me, that I never called you to be the wife of the ministry. I'm your husbandman, and you are the servant. I'm just the person called to deliver the word, not to ignore my wife, not to ignore my family, not to spend time with them. These are the kinds of things I don't think pastors talk about enough, to let them know that, no, the ministry doesn't belong to you, it belongs to God. I'm just a servant, is all I am. And when I die, somebody else will be raised up behind that pulpit, and they will begin to do the thing that God has called them. So I say to all pastors, that those of you who your marriage are in trouble, I say to you, take a look again what the Bible says, and see that your wife, your family is more important than any other thing that could happen. And I regret that, but I have a God that loves me and has forgiven me, and I'm moving on and doing greater things now in this day and time. So it does cost you if you're not careful.
Yeah, and a lot of times, Doc, and I'm so happy you saying that, man, because you're helping a lot of young people and young preachers and those who've been in the ministry for seasons to understand family first, man. And it means a life. My family is my ministry, and to have them in order is a blessing. But we need people like you to tell the story, man. I was talking to Bishop Noah Jones last night because he meets with a whole bunch of brothers on Tuesday. Only men only. Not the women
That's
can't
good.
come, Doc.
That's good, man. Yeah, because men need a space to be able to talk about things that they just don't share, not even with their wife, right? We need a space that we can really be honest with each other. And I think me as a pastor, I just rather have an open book, because if you say something about me, I would go like, yeah, that's true. I mean, so what else is there you got to say, right? And so it was difficult because, one, I was taught by a very, very good leader about what marriage is and about what that commitment looks like. But I got married in my late 40s. I was single for most of my life. So I brought what my identity was, which was a single life. I love preaching the word. I love teaching the word more than anything else. But what I did wrong was I put that in front of my ex-wife and everything that I did, and I buried myself in there. And it was not the thing that God was asking me. I'll give you even a quick example. I remember one time sitting in the house and my phone rang, and somebody had called me to ask me to pray. They had a situation. The pastor, could you pray for me? One of the things God has given me is a gift of prayer, and a whole lot of other things that God has given me, and I'm not special. But after I got through, my wife then asked me, did the person actually seek Jesus first? And then I said, well, babe, that's what I do. That's why they called me. She said, no, you are now becoming God, and you're becoming their God. And she said, they need to be able to seek Jesus. And that thing hit me like a ton of bricks. And it really helped me to understand that, yes, I was doing something to enable people instead of leading them to God. I was feeling like empowered by this thing and really becoming a God to the people myself. And so I learned these lessons over time. But here's what I will say to men. Man, when your wife is crying out to you about spending more time with her, please do not take that as some kind of, I don't really have time for you. I got to go ahead. When she's crying out to you and she's having problems, she's having mental problems, or she's worried about something, or she's really trying to get closer to you, please don't push her away and put the ministry in front of her. That is a mistake that I made. Deeply regret it. Deeply would go back and say, God, I would change everything if I really understood that. And we need to come together and have more talks about this more often than none, so that we as preachers can be the examples, even when you make a mistake. And so it's very, very important that we understand that.
Yeah, and I'm so happy, man, on the Preacher's Life show. This show is all about that, man. It's all about being open, being real, being honest, being truthful, man. And I want to thank you for being on PIC TV Network, sharing your testimony, sharing your life story with the world here on PIC TV Network. Doctor, let's talk about another thing. on our commercial break. We're going to have a commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some of the challenges that you face, even in COVID,
Sure.
about some challenges. You're watching the PIC TV Network special presentation today. We have Reverend Rivers on, my good friend and my brother. We'll be right back after this.
Yo, what's up? This bruh man from the fifth floor. Yo, look at here. Y'all need to support the new Coaching World channel on PIC TV Network. It's all that. I mean, go to www.watchpictv.com. That's PIC TV.com. It's all that. So spread the word. You know, the new coaches channel. That's PIC TV Network. www.watchpictv.com. You know, my dude, man, David Edwards is the president, all right, of the PIC TV Network. So let's support him. You know, PIC TV, all coaches need to be off up on this here channel. I mean, it's like money in the bank. Matter of fact, it's like served sandwiches in the bank. All the served sandwiches that you can eat. Watching PICTV.com for the coaches. Peace.
Hey, PIC TV Network fans, we have a hot show on right now. I know everybody's talking about A Preacher's Life. You can only see it one place on planet Earth. That is right here on the PIC TV Network. How was that? Because I created it just for you. My special guest is on today. We've been working 3 years to get him on PIC TV Network. He is finally here, Reverend Rivers. I love him so much. We got chemistry. We got love for each other. He's a man of God. We're about the same age, too. You know, we're in the 60s world. So all of you from older cats, hey, you got some seasoned men of God on right now. Reverend Rivers, man, I love you, dude.
Thank
My
you,
man.
brother.
Doc,
Same here.
let's get into some of the challenges, man. I know COVID hit and the whole world changed. Talk about the challenges that you faced in that.
Well, look, when COVID came around, I was probably like everybody else. What do we do? I am thankful that at the time I had some very brilliant young people around me David, first of all, let me say this. I'm like you. I'm just old school, right? And so being on Facebook was never my thing. Having these different things, type of technology, YouTube and all these, those were never my thing, right? I always would like to get in front of people and preach, but I would preach anywhere. No, it doesn't make a difference to me. And so what they did is they convinced me, one of my spiritual daughters, Deborah, and several of the other ladies, Jackie, and many of them at the church that I was at, really convinced me to go on and on Facebook and begin to preach, and that we could not close the church doors. And so we started a channel on Facebook, and we grew that thing to almost 70,000 people watching us around the world. I decided that I was going to preach in different areas of the city and around the state. And then I created another channel called One Man and a Camera, which then took off even more on a Thursday. And so I preached out of cornfield. I preached on a golf course. I preached at downtown Charleston, where the market is, where many people, thousands of people come every year. I preached in a treehouse. And so it was almost like people were like excited to see us because they didn't know where I was going to be. I preached in people's backyards, front yards, and wherever they would let me come to. And so that's how we really was able to continue to get the word out. And that's how people know me. They call me the internet pastor. So when I'm in the grocery store or in one of the Sam's Club or one of those places, they say, "I know you," and I go, "Okay." They go, "Yeah, you're the internet preacher." So we took what nobody else could do and say, "Look, we're going to continue to preach this word," and we did that. And today, because of that, we have people around the world that are watching us. And now, of course, we'll talk about this later on the show. Is that we have now churches on a global scale now.
Wow, man, that is amazing, man. I want to give you a lot of 5-star love for that because we need that, man. It's challenges of COVID, the whole world changed, but thank God, man, you got on social media, and what you're doing today is super amazing. Let's talk about some of the champions, some of the people you look up to, some of the people you admire, man. One of mine's persons is Bishop Noel Jones, who he gonna be watching this, man. Scene. I told him that you want to meet him, man, and we're gonna put something together. But give me
Yeah.
some champions, man, people you look up to.
First of all, let me say, I'm going to say this directly to this camera. Bishop Noel Jones, I am not only just a big fan, but I love your preaching. I love your teaching. I have followed you for many, many years. And I look forward that if I have the chance to really meet you and sit down and talk with you, and I'm just going to put it out there. I like to get in on that men's meeting as well. But also, I looked up to, many of the great preachers of old. But on a local scale, Brother Dallas Wilson really was a prolific preacher. One who could understand the Bible like nobody else. And I was able to sit under his tutelage for a while and really learned a lot about his understanding. Let me tell you how. When I was actually going through marriage counseling, and because you know how we are as young preachers, we think we know it all. And he had asked me to go and study some things. And I said to myself, man, what you asking me to go and study? I know what I'm talking about. And I came back, right, and I gave him my little 2 cents about it. He just kind of looked at me like a good father. And he said to me, son, you didn't study. I know you didn't study. And he busted me right there. And really what it told me was that his knowledge of the word was so much deeper than mine. I thought I could get away with it. And he let me know, no, I know you didn't study. And he didn't say because I know the word. He was just letting me know, no, son, you can't do that. So that helped me to understand it. So now when I'm talking to people, I know when they're studied. I know when they're trying to overcome me. I know when they're trying to do all of these other things. My second person, these are local people, is Pastor Kevin Brown. And he is one that when I was really kind of going through some challenges, I was staying with a friend of mine named Virgil. I had kind of lost everything. I was homeless. I was sleeping at the little church I was preaching on the church bench. All of these things were going on in my life. And I was walking downtown. And if anybody knows, when you have money, you sit in restaurants, you eat, you don't think about it. But the day that you don't have any money, you start looking in the window and the salad that you really didn't care about becomes more interesting. And so one day I was walking downtown doing that exact same thing, looking in the windows. And my good friend Virgil Wade came up and saw me. He said, man, the Lord told me I was going to see you today. And here's what I will tell you. What I told Virgil was, yes, I'm homeless. I don't have any place to stay. I will tell people when folks ask you about how you're doing, stop being so churchy. Stop talking about I'm all right, I'm highly favored and all this other kind of stuff. No, be honest because you don't know what God has in store. And if I had said that, then I would have missed my blessing. But he then told me, man, listen, come, stay with me. He allowed me to come to his house. He had a wife and 2 young kids. He gave me a job with him working on his company. He's now a big time HVAC guy, does commercial work here. One of the best guys I know in that business. We spent a lot of time together in prayer, and really it was just an amazing time. And one day the Lord said to me, it's time to go. I had no place to go. Virgil came home and told me, hey man, the Lord told me it was time for you to go. I was like, Lord, I have no place to go. But what the Lord was doing is kicking me out of the nest. He said, now I have gotten you to where you need to be at now. Now I want you to get out. Now I'm going to do some greater things. And so it was a really hard time in my life, and yet God was still blessing me. I know He is a God. I began to teach and preach, and then I could just see God just doing just mighty things in my life. I then went to school, got my bachelor's degree, had hardly no money. My professor, Professor Kelly, kept telling me, no, don't give up, don't give up. I want to give a big shout out. If you see this picture behind me, that's my sister, Wendy Rivers, who I love dearly. She came down in my first year and paid for my actual college tuition, paid for me to graduate. I'm telling you, I am blessed by this woman who spent 32 years in the military, came out as a full-bird colonel. The second year, did the same thing. You know, she kind of helped me get out of the situation and paid for it. So I owe my 2 degrees to my sister. Really, I got to give it a shout out. And then, you know, I met my wife and we began to date and talk about that. I went into the Anglican church. And then this is where I met Pastor Dallas, and he told me, no, man, you just can't sit on the bench. You're actually a preacher. And so I went to school and got my master's degree. Now, listen to me. Let me tell you something. This is very, very important. I want to let you know. You know, there are things in your life as a preacher, you know, God wants to make sure that he exposes so that you can become better at what you do. And while I was in college there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, y'all, I am a Steelers fan. If I could flip this camera around, you'll see that our entire family is a Steelers fan. We love the Steelers, my sister, my brother, you name it, we're all. So all Steelers fans, I want to give y'all a big shout out. But the story here I want to tell you is that, you know, being single, you know, I was not somebody who was more compassionate, right? I didn't have that compassion. I was more like, you know, let's do it. Let's get it now. You know, this is what the word said. And I ended up having a stroke and a thrombosis, and I stroked out in my home at the time. My wife and I was there. My ex-wife which was my wife at the time. And they got me in an ambulance and they had to hit me 3 or 4 more times. I got to the hospital. They told me they had to put me under. They had to induce me in a coma. Let me tell you how good God is. And the doctor said the only way I'm going to come out of that coma is that they bring me out. I want to tell anybody that knows God, that loves God, that he is greater than anything that the doctors can say. I ain't going to go into preaching because I could do it right now. But I want to tell you that God touched this man. This man who's speaking to you right now, he touched me. I woke up out that coma and every bell went off in there. And it was like, there's no way you could have came out there. Yes, there is a way. There's a way by the name of God himself. And he was able to wake me up out that coma. And they was like, look, man, you can't stay on this floor because it is not a floor for people who are well. And so I had to get through all of that process. And now today I'm speaking to you without any issue of a stroke or anything. And then I'm going to tell you something real quick that happened to me. I was getting ready to leave and graduating from college, coming back to Charleston, South Carolina. And I had to go get my records because I needed them. And I tracked my doctor down finally. And my doctor said, has anybody ever showed you your scans and what happened to you? And I said, no, ma'am, nobody has never done it. And she showed me the scans where the blockage was in my head. And she said, Matthew, usually when somebody have a stroke of this type, it's within another year, they'll have another stroke. Y'all, I want to tell you, I love Jesus. I believe Jesus. I trust Jesus. But there was a thing that came over me when this lady said this, and I got into a fear. And I had this stroke on October 31st, 2016. And every October, I started feeling like, oh my God, something is wrong with my arm. Oh my God. And I was just in this fear and panic for over 3 years. Over 3 years, I feared every time this was about to come up. And finally, I felt in my spirit, like I said, God, if I'm going to have a stroke, God, then I'm going to have a stroke and I'm still going to serve you anyhow. But I believe, God, that you are better than what my doctor said. Let me tell y'all something. I don't care what you call yourself, whether you're an apostle, whether you're a bishop, whether you're anything at all. There are times in your life where God needs you to overcome something you don't even believe that you're even dealing with. And I was dealing with some fear that as far as my health is concerned, because I've never been sick. So I now had this challenge in front of me and I was like, oh man, I just can't deal with a stroke. And so fear grabbed a hold of me for 3 years. And finally I told God, I'm never going to live in fear again. So any of you out there that's living in fear for something that somebody has told you, whether it be a doctor, a lawyer, or your mother or your father, any one of you that's doing that, I want to tell you right now, I am living proof that once you talk to God and you tell him, hey, look, God, I don't matter what happens to me, I'm going to trust you anyhow. God is able to do it. So it was all of these things, David, that were happening to me over the course of my life that has made me a stronger person, has made me a stronger believer, and it made me trust God. And most importantly, it made me more compassionate that when I go and visit people, I don't go and visit them with this hard hand like, no, we got to do what we got to believe. It made me much more compassionate towards folks.
Wow, you know, man, when I hear you say that, man, you just beaming up the whole world, man. I mean, you giving hope, you giving inspiration, you giving love, you giving encouragement. And that's what this show is all about, a preacher's life, telling your story, man. Who would have never known that?
Right.
Unless you had time to talk about it. Doc, right. Before we go into our international presentation that you're going to take us and show some beautiful stories behind these pictures, Tell people how they can get in touch with you, man, because you constantly, consistently on, man. Every week I get your invites, man, and the world needs to know, and they can jump on because it's
Amen.
social media anywhere around the world, Doc. Tell them how they can I can join and what you got going on.
Sure, sure. Listen, you can always join me. We are Talk Ministries. We call it Talk Ministries for short, abbreviated. It's Truth and Life Kingdom Ministry. You can look us up on Facebook. And you can also look my page up, which is Matthew Rivers. You can look me up, and you can join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. After I finish this, I'm going to be jumping on Bible study here. And then also, you can reach us by Zoom. We send out a Zoom link. So if you want to get that Zoom link, you can email me at mrivers@talkministries.com. Matthew Rivers at talkministries.com. You can reach me there, say, hey, Pastor Rivers, please send me the link. I like to get on Zoom. Some people don't want to be on Facebook. Some people want to be on the Zoom link. And so every Wednesday at 7 p.m., every Sunday, 9:30 to 11, we are in and out. We don't have any music. We don't have all that other stuff. It is strictly teaching the Bible. And let me just tell you, we've been going from the beginning of the Bible. We're going to walk it all the way across. Why? Because it's very important to me that you understand what was happening in the time and all of the things that were happening then, so that when you get to the New Testament, you won't say that this is a different type of God. He's the same God yesterday, the same God today, and the same God forevermore. And so we're now in chapter 23, verses 1 through 9. We're talking about Abraham having to deal now with the death of his wife, Sarah, who he's been married to pretty much all of his life. He just got into this traumatic situation where he had to sacrifice his son. God showed him that, hey, I am the God that loves you, Abraham. And now I know that you love me even more than that son, the one and only son that you have. And God showed him the ram in the bush. He was able to have the sacrifice, and he goes back home. Can you imagine him now going back home to Sarah, how she's waiting to see her son? But then you flip the chapter now, and now he's dealing with the death of his wife. And now we're talking about, what does that mean to us? What does that mean? So if you want to join us, again, we'll be on live tonight, 7 p.m. We'll also be on Facebook, which is on my page, Matthew Rivers. We're also on Talk Ministry, Truth and Life Kingdom Ministries, or you can email me at mrivers@talkministries.com, or just call me, 843-478-6468. You can do that.
Wow. And you know, we're getting ready to take off, and he's going to take us on a trip without luggage. He's going to take us on a trip, folks, and we cannot wait to go to Tanzania, go over the sea. And man, I cannot wait, because I already know that every picture has a story. And especially those like me who had never traveled over to the motherland and overseas to ministry. We're going to see how the water is over there, the people over there, the living conditions over there, and how they love Jesus. Right after this commercial break, folks, don't touch that dial. You're watching A Preacher's Life. Today we have a special guest on who is my brother, who is my friend, Reverend Rivers. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, it is me, DL Hughley, and I want everyone to download the PIC TV network on your Roku search bar. My brother David Evans is growing PIC TV fans, and I want us to help my brother grow and reach the world. So click and play www.thepictvnetwork.com. So he's doing a good thing. I hope we can show him a little support. Remember, PIC TV network on Roku, the Roku search bar. And make sure we try to reach the world a little bit. Give them a little something to look forward to. All right, God bless and take care.
Hey there! Exciting news! PIC TV Network is on the lookout for talented short filmmakers like you to showcase your amazing work to the world. Imagine your short film being seen in barbershops, nail salons, bars, restaurants, clubs, churches, airports, sports stadiums, college dorms, and even on Roku TV in different languages across foreign countries. The PIC TV Short Film Channel is in need of hundreds of new short films every week, and they can't wait to feature yours. Just give them a call at 202-505-2837 or visit watchpictv.com to get started. Get ready to share your creativity with Pick TV fans, movie directors, and producers who will be eagerly watching. This is your chance to shine.
Everybody, it's time for us to travel across the world and see what's going on with our brothers and sisters in different nations. And I'm so happy today, the man of God is here to take us there as he shares on this broadcast of Preacher's Life. We're so happy again. Reverend Rivers, we're going to show some pictures, man, and every picture have a story. And we want you to tell the world, man, about, what's going on. And you've been there. This is not something that you just talking about. You've been on the soil, you've been with the people. And as we show the pictures, man, please take your time and give us the information on what is this picture all about and give us the story behind it. Let's start right here.
Well, right here, the first picture you see is this is us buying our first piece of land in Zambia. I cannot remember the actual area. The names are very difficult sometimes to pronounce, but this is us. All of these gentlemen here are related to the owner of the land. I don't see him in the picture, but this is us buying our first piece of land there, and they measure things in hectares. And so this was the first thing we bought, which was 8 hectares of land that we bought. And these gentlemen were just very, very kind to come out and help us measure that so we can put stakes in the ground and make that land cut off for us. But let me say something about this piece of land. And we are now, let me say this first, we are now closing on our last 8 hectares, which is now going to give us over 100 acres of land that we will now own and begin to farm. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this soil that you see these guys standing on, I'm behind the camera, I'm the one taking this picture, has never been touched since God made the earth. This is some of the richest soil that you can plant on right here. So this is a great thing. It has been in their families for hundreds and hundreds of years. So this was an exciting time, very, very exciting time. And this next picture that you're seeing here is one of our churches in Kenya. We had came to this little church, and I will tell you, when you travel overseas, I want you to take out of your mind all of the things that you see us do, the nice clothes that we wear and things like that, because you're going to see people and holes in their shoes, their pants, things they don't have the same style or the same kind of materials that we have now. Don't get me wrong, many people do. But in these churches that we call in the country or in the bush, whichever one you want to use, these folks don't worry about what they look like or whether their shoes matching their shirt or their shirts matching their pants. They really come to serve the Lord. And we had came to this church and I was very hungry. All I had was a banana to eat. It was like, 4 or 5 hours to get there. And when we got there, we met the husband and wife, the 2 pastors of the church. And I'm telling you, when my daughter, Jane, you'll see her in a little while, my spiritual daughter began to open up for me. When I came up, the Spirit of the Lord was just in this place. And I mean, it was just massive time in the place. We had about 70 people there. And the Lord began to move and people were being slayed in the Spirit. It was a powerful time. And these are blessed people, and they're part of our ministry now. So we're excited. This is Pastor Jane Kukasa. She's from Zambia. This is I ordained her as our first global pastor for Africa. So she's now in charge of all of our churches, bringing on new churches and things like that in Africa. So I'm very, very proud of her. She may see this. She's in Zambia now doing the business that I just told you about. She's closing on the last piece of land that we're buying. And so she's taking care of that. She's preparing to be traveling here in the next month or so to go visit all of our churches in Tanzania, Zambia, as well as in Kenya. And then we're growing. We possibly got another church open up in Malawi and another part of the African continent. So that was a big moment for me. And I was so proud of her at this time. Very, very proud. Listen, this is an interesting story. I work with a nonprofit organization out of Tanzania. I'm no longer with them. We had a conflict of interest, what I was doing, what they were doing. But while we were there, we started to work with them on building houses for widows and orphans and building wells for the different communities. And here you see me in the hat, the gray hat there, and everybody around me speaks Swahili. So I felt like I was in like the United Nations or something, right? And so I'm trying to tell them how to get this boulder out. And all of these young guys, they're strong young people. They're trying to pull the boulder out, but now I'm trying to tell them in English, and they don't understand me. I don't understand them. And finally, we got to a point where I had somebody to translate and say, "Hey, this is how you get this rock, this huge rock, out of this well that we're trying to dig." And it was just an exciting time, and I'll never forget it. I felt like I was trying to communicate with somebody, and they were trying to communicate with me, and neither one of us could understand. So we went to sign languages, and we finally got the rock out. Here is now, we have now dug the well. We actually cast all of these rings you see right on site. You cannot bring a bulldozer. Everything there is done by hand. So we had to bring all of this concrete down through a little pathway all the way down to the site in order to get these rings that we put down in the hole. There were 13 of them. So we were picking them up and bringing them over to where the hole is and setting those rings in there. And one man, y'all, dug this entire well. I think it was like 13, 14 feet deep until we got to the actual water. We got to the water area in that well, and it was just amazing to see that guy dig that hole like that. It's just awesome. Now, what you're saying here is something I'm so proud of. On our first piece of farm, if Uncle Sam, if you're watching this, Uncle Sam is our guy who handles all of our farming. We actually do fish farming as well. And this is one of our fish ponds. This is probably 100 by 20 feet fish pond that we actually feed the fish. We grow these fish, and at the end of 6 months or so, we actually take these fish to market. And so this is just one of about 8 or 9 that we have, and we hope to have in this year another 10 or 11 fish ponds that we're going to get to bigger markets that we'll be selling fish, and on a local side of it, we'll be selling fish. And then, of course, everything we do, we want to have impact, so we'll be giving some things away to the local people to make sure that they can have food as well. Fish is one of the main things that we have. Listen, this was very interesting. What you see here is this is clay, and they make bricks out of clay, and this is when they have this little small contraption, it looks like a little box, and they bring all this mud over. They put it down, they push this thing through, and the mud comes in this thing, and then they set it down, and they go and set these bricks there, and they have to dry over a period of time. And this is the bricks that we use to build houses, to build wells, all kinds of things. And this is the interesting way that they do it. And so I was very, very pleased to have an opportunity to visit this site and to see this. And it's amazing what these guys can do with limited technology. Now, I really wanted people to see this because this is where Uncle Sam lives, and I call it In the Bush. And this is what you need to understand. This is where I go. I don't want to take anybody there if you can't handle this. But this is what you call an outhouse. I know we talk about it with our parents and things like that, but this is the bathroom, and this is what I had to use. And that little hole that you see in the picture there is where you use the bathroom. And you have to make sure that there's some tissue there in the bathroom as well. And then the bucket represents the water you pour out to clean it. And this is how the actual outside of it looked. And people just don't believe it. I met with one of my pastors the other day, Pastor Kevin Brown, my mentor, and I began to show him these pictures. And he was like, "Oh, Pastor Rivers, I just can't do it." And I said, "I will not leave you on that farm to have to use that bathroom, especially at nighttime." But this is really interesting. I wanted you to see a little bit about how they live over there. Very good thing.
Wow. Let's go to here.
All right, so what you're seeing is these pictures are all different angles of the land we bought and the land that we have with Uncle Sam as well. So all of this is land we've cleared. This is the land that we will be planting. We'll be planting corn, cassava, tomatoes. I didn't give Dr. Evans the ones that we've already had growing the corn and tomatoes, cabbage, beans. Our new land will be we're doing rice. But one of the biggest things that we'll be doing is, and it's a big market for it, is garlic. So we'll be planting garlic, which is a huge market for it there. So what you're seeing here is the land that we bought and that we now have, which is close to almost 100 acres.
Man, I'm overwhelmed. Matter of fact, I'm just looking at the pictures, man, and every picture that you have a story, man. And
yes,
I'm so happy that you are just sharing with us, because some of us never been there. You know, I never been there before, but by you sharing this information today, I feel like we there, man. I feel like we there, and these people love God. They love
Yeah.
God.
They do. And let me tell you something, Dr. Evans, is that these people travel hundreds and hundreds of miles to come to church. You know, if it's raining, they're coming. If no matter what the weather looks like, it's not like us. We're fair weather people. If the weather gets bad, oh, you know, God knows my heart. No, these folks, they only have one thing to hold on to. Now, I want to be very careful, you guys. I'm not trying to compare Africa with us. I am not trying to do that. What I will tell you is that they don't let anything stop them from coming to serve God. And I will tell you, Dr. Evans, that there are many of the churches that have not been built. And I'll give you an example. Here's one of our churches that is down in the valley. It's made of straw, as you can see. You got the pieces of wood that they've put together. This church is full of young people that when I got there and I asked them, what did they want? They was like, can we get more books, more Bibles, more teaching materials? They are hungry. And when I tell you little children, from as little as 8, they can sing like nobody else. We have teenagers there. We have kids in their 30s, and all they wanted from me was not a computer, was not a Game Boy or any one of those things. They wanted more Bibles, more teaching. They wanted it, and so we're in the process of working that out to get them more materials, and we're going to send somebody from one of our churches in the city to go down and spend a Sunday after Sunday to help teach them and to continue to give them hope. So it's just a powerful thing, very powerful.
Man, you know what? I'm so blessed, man, because you text me from over there, and we're trying to get some footage, man. Talk about when you get there, Doc. How's the love when they see you coming over there?
Yeah, so when you get there, they call you Mzungu. That's just the name for foreigner. It doesn't mean anything to you. They call Caucasian people the same thing. But here's what I will tell you. They have such great respect for pastors. I mean, it is just totally different for how people just respect you when you get there. So it was just a big thing. You know, when you get to Zambia, that picture's in Zambia, one we just saw as one of our churches, like I said, in the valley. You get to Kenya, they have great respect for anybody that is wearing the collar or anything like that. It's just powerful. Here's another picture of us teaching. I'm teaching again here at another church. This is in Kenya where I'm teaching here. And that service before, Dr. Evans, let me tell you something about this service. It is very important that I share with you on this. Is that the night before I was actually coming to teach at this service, I felt like I was in such pain. I was in such pain, and I was just moaning because of the pain and the darkness that I felt while before I went to go and teach. And I struggled. I began to cry. I began to weep, and I was asking God, "What is going on, God? What is?" I mean, I was bent over. Really, I just didn't understand it. And what I was eventually understood was I was dealing with some forces of witchcraft and darkness and things like that. That it is prevalent in Africa. It's prevalent here, but it's really prevalent there. And when I got there, I began to teach not what I had written, but I began to teach how the power of God is so much bigger than anything on the earth. And then I began to talk about how they ought to leave their tribal things at the door and enter into a place that God wants to heal them from a whole lot of it. It was a powerful service. I'll never forget it. People were just excited. At first, they were all just looking at me like, what? Who is this guy? What is he saying? And this guy you see standing next to me is my translator. But as God began to give me the word for these folks, the church just began to explode. It was just an awesome time. And God did a great thing through me in that moment. So I was very excited to have the opportunity to speak to those folks. Very excited.
You know, when I look at pictures like this, man, and you going overseas ministering to folk and that we take for granted, Doc, do you think we're spoiled over here in America, Doc, the way we have church and things? Do you think we're spoiled?
You know, look, I think America is a country that is far more advanced than Africa. Is a third world country. And so what we've come to have is that, you know, we have all of the access and the luxuries to a whole lot of things. And so it kind of makes us spoiled, right? It's kind of the way America was built and things of that nature. But when you swap places with somebody like that and you realize that you can only make $1 a day, you have to figure out how to feed your family. Your kids may not be able to go to school because you can't afford the school fees and all those kinds of things. It is a totally different life. And that's why I never try to compare Africa to America. But the one thing I will tell you, because of these conditions, the hope of Christ is so much more prevalent. Let me just say this, but you're actually dealing with witchcraft every day. I mean, I drove by a witch doctor's house. They told me, hey, that's the witch doctor's house. I actually had experience. One of my pastors' wife was coming back across the field that they had, and this man who called a witch doctor had placed something there. Her leg could not move, and she was struggling. So her husband had to come get her and bring her. And then the actual witch doctor came, knocked on my pastor's door and said, hey, how's your wife's leg doing? And so he began to pray. And God kept telling him, you got to pray. This is not an emergency for a hospital. You just got to keep praying. And he kept praying all night long. And finally, the whatever the curses or thing was broken. This is the kind of thing that they're dealing with. And more people sit in the church, got one foot in the church and one foot at the witch doctor. Guess what? It's the same thing here. 1 foot in the world, 1 foot in the church, right? So it's no different. And unless you're sold out for God, that's just a problem, big problem. The picture you just saw before was Pastor Jane Kukasa, my spiritual daughter. That's where we anointed her to be our global pastor. So we were just happy. That was a beautiful moment for me. It was a special service. I actually ordained 2 other pastors from a different church at that time and blessed them as well. So welcome them in the ministry. So I was in charge of doing that. So I got a chance to bring 2 other pastors in another pastor's church as well. So it was an exciting time. The weather is hot now. I will tell you that. It is hot.
Doug, you are made for this moment, man. I mean, and I thank God for Pick TV Network and your opportunity to tell the world your story, man. And I want you to talk about, Doc, me and you've been talking about doing some more shows and bringing some pastors on from over there and getting us involved in international ministries, man. This is why it's important for us to sow. Many of us may never go over there in our life, but our seed can go where we cannot go. So It's important for us to keep this alive, man. For somebody to say that this is my calling to go over there in ministry and do some missionary work and to be over there. Doc, talk about going from one airport to this area. How far you got to drive?
Well, look, first of all, let me just say that the flight, if you're going to Zambia, is 16 hours. So you have a stopover in some part of Europe, Paris or Amsterdam or anything like that. It's a beautiful time. I love stopping in Paris because you can do some shopping and then kind of see the side. I love Amsterdam because if you have a 3-hour layover, you could actually tour the city of Amsterdam and come back to the airport and catch your plane and then go. So it's really a fun time. It's a shorter time. Let me just say, when you get to Zambia, you will have some power issues. That is some of the challenges that they face, the people face there. We don't have that problem here, but that's just a part of what the life is. But the bigger hotels, they have generators and things like that. Secondly, moving from Zambia to Tanzania, it's about an hour, maybe at max 2 hours. I don't even think it takes that much. And so I actually caught the local bus out of Zambia into Tanzania and then flew into where I needed to go at as well. So there are all kinds of ways to get from one part of the country to another as well. It's a very short trip between each country, not long at all. Security is not that bad to get into the airport and get out. You have to have your passport. You want to take some shots that you want to take care. You have to be careful about how you eat your food. These are kinds of things that, I can tell you about if you want to know how do I do it. And I know many of you probably thinking this plan is paying like $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 to travel. No, we have an agency that we work with that works specifically with pastors and churches and nonprofit organizations. That my flights will cost me sometimes $1,023, maybe $1,015. I don't know, somewhere around there. And then the price goes up because I'm a 6'1" and I don't like sitting way in the back because my knees will be hurting me out in those long trips. So I usually buy a ticket to move up right behind first class or in a section that my legs can stretch out, and my ticket may become $1,500. That is round trip. All right. So it's not a problem going over there. Let me say last, most importantly, every other country is there. Every other country is there. And I would implore you, if you don't feel safe going by yourself, fine. When I travel, I promise you, I'm willing to take you and show you this beautiful country, how people have businesses. They're selling some of the best fruits. And I will take you to the fish market where these guys are bringing fish right off the sea that is so fresh, and they'll cut it up right there for you. They'll cook it for you. I had prawns that taste so well. I mean, whiting, croaker, you name it, salmon, just so fresh and beautiful. It's just an amazing time. I also went to see the animals and saw, if you ever watch TV where they're showing you the animals kind of moving, migrating from one part. I actually went to the reserve and saw the elephants. I was 20 feet away from them, saw the lions and the giraffe. As a matter of fact, where I stayed in the camp, the giraffe walked right through my camp. I wish I had time to send Dr. Evans some pictures while I stayed in the tent. It looked like I was in the Hilton Hotel. So when you do these kinds of things, it is amazing, and you get a chance to spend time with the local people and see how they eat cassava and the beans. Now, me personally, I don't eat a lot of the different foods, so I like beans, rice, goat. I will tell you, the goat is off the chain. I have a friend of mine, her name is, oh God, the name is escaping me, Shishifu. If you ever heard of her, she's one of the top actors in the country in Tanzania. She has restaurants across the country, and I eat at her restaurant every time I go back. The food is it's amazing. And so I had a big plate of goat. I had chicken and rice, beans, you name it, vegetables. I had it all. The watermelon is fantastic. The pineapples and all of those things. They are so good. When I went there, I was like 225. When I came back, I was like 205. I was ready because I ate well. I understand. Then I came back and started eating all this food that we eat over here. So now I have to watch my weight. But I'm telling you, the experience is nothing like it. And lastly, let me say this. The preachers always say that, right? Lastly, I will tell you, there's so much opportunity. This is why we're farming. This is why we're going to be doing that. And out of this farming, we're going to come back. I'll ask Dr. Evans to allow me to come back. We're going to be asking to help us to get our equipment, like our tractors, certain types of machinery and things like that. Because why? Why are we doing that? I've never asked people for money. This is one time I'm asking you to sow into something that is not about me. We are then going to take that money, one, help our churches to survive. I want to come on this TV show asking you, please give to our church in Kenya. Please give to our church in Tanzania. No. We are creating these opportunities, business opportunities like the fish, the farming, and all of these things so that we can have the funds to supply the things that our churches need on the continent. That's number one. Number two, out of these funds, we're going to put up small, like CVSs or medical centers, because people have to travel miles to get to hospitals. And so we work in the bush, we work in the country. So we're going to start putting up small pharmacies across the areas where we are, where our churches are, and in the area. We're going to be working with the local authorities to make sure we do that. We're going to create special programs for people. And eventually, our biggest goal is to open up a hospital where we can give care to those who definitely need it and things of that nature. So what our goal is really to provide opportunities for people there to create jobs. Our farm is going to take 1,000 people to deal with every year. We're going to give a big portion of our produce. You know, God talked about go back and glean, and the Bible talks about going back and gleaning. When you read the book of Ruth, how the daughter went back and gleaning out of the fields. Well, we're going to actually do that. We're going to allow the people in the area to come back and glean in the fields to get these vegetables and give them things so that they'll know that we really care about the community. And I will say this about our church. We are not just a global church. We're a global church to make impact. That's what Talk Ministry is about. We're a global church to make impact. And if we're not making impact, no need for us to do it. We're not going to be partnering with people just to kind of make money. We need to make money. Ministry costs. And so we're there to make an impact. And we've done that with building houses. Dr. Evans showed that we build houses with this organization for widows. We built wells in different areas that now people are drinking clean water. We've done all of these things. I've been in Africa for a long time now, so I know my way around. And we have other business opportunities that we're going to do, and hopefully we can bring that to you. That's just one of the houses that we were building. Wow. Our church gave money to this. This house cost about $3,000 to build. It's just got windows that you put a roof on it. It doesn't have any AC. It's about 4 rooms in there. The kitchen doesn't have any stove or anything like that. And then there's a sitting room in the front, and then there's a bedroom and then another bedroom. And so this is what people are, and listen to me, y'all. You can look in the back and you see mountains. People would kill if that's the kind of scenery we had in the United States. These people don't really care anything about that. They want a place that they can lay their heads and feel like they have a home for themselves. And we only built this organization only built for widows and orphans only. Nothing else, nobody else. We hope to do the same thing. And every area that we go in is what our plan is. And this is why we're buying so many acres in order to make sure that we're making an impact. That's really what we're trying to do, Dr. Evans.
Man, I'm so again, I want to thank you, man, for coming on Pick TV Network and making history, because what we want to do is have an international show. I want to have some of the pastors to come on from over there, and for you to be the ambassador, man, for you to be the person who will make sure everything is done right.
That's
So
a done deal, man. Listen, I've been talking to you about this for a while. I also saw that you guys can also broadcast it in many languages, which is going to be important for them. And as I come on and broadcast, I've already talked to Dr. Evans about coming and doing the show where we can broadcast there as well. The people can pick us up and it will be translated in their language. And we're going to do the same thing, which is to broadcast from there. Dr. Evans, we're setting up some satellite situations there so that we can connect and there won't be a drop in the services. So we've got a lot of things in plan for these folks that hopefully you guys can get a very unique picture and a unique perspective of Africa, and not just get this one side where you see people and the natural clothing where they're in the villages and things like that. But no, these people own shops. These people drive nice cars. There's Mercedes-Benz, all kinds of cars that they're driving over there. So this is not the Africa that you've seen the networks present to you, only one side of it. These are people who are doing great things and making great impacts. Do they have their struggles? Yes. Do they have their issues? Yes, every country does. But what we're saying to you is that if you just want to take a trip and go see, we are open to doing that and showing you that there's another side of Africa that you will fall in love with.
And we have to support you, man. The people watching right now. We're going to have a weekly show with you on, man. You can bring everybody
Yes.
on. And Doc, this is your first time on Pick TV Network. How did you enjoy the commercials, first of all? How did you enjoy it? And I want to thank you for taking the TV Ready session. And tell everybody why it's important, if you're coming on Pick TV Network, how much the TV Ready session helped you to prepare for this show today.
Look, I thought I was just going to jump on here. Okay, let's just go and start talking and things like that. But when Dr. Evans sent me the TV Ready presentation, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, I didn't really understand that I needed all that in order to come on TV and make sure that things were done right in a high level, because that's why I like to do things on a very high level. And after reviewing that, then I got ready to make sure that I had everything. I was like, okay, I need great lighting. That's one thing he talks about. You need water. You need to be ready. Your volume and things like that. All of those things are important in order to broadcast on TV and on Pick Network or any other TV. You know, when they go in these regular studios, they have all these things around. It's just not there for fun. It's there because they're trying to broadcast something that is professional, that you can enjoy. And Dr. Evans gives you that time to look at that, to learn, and to be ready. So when he brings you on, it's a real professional. I moved like 5 times when he would say, he said, no, you can't be there. And so he was helping me to make sure that I was in a spot that was very easy for your eyes to really see. Nobody wants to see a bunch of junk behind you or anything like that.
That's why it's called TV Ready, Doc. We have to get the TV audience ready. This is not Facebook, YouTube,
Right.
LinkedIn, Twitch. This is television. You got 90 million people watching this, and you never know who may pick you up. Dr.
Yeah.
BT, TV One, and I'll be ready to go there and celebrate you on the big stage, man. But I help
Amen.
people get their starts, man, and I'm so happy that you sold into this ministry, man, and you're a giver. And look where you are. It took 3 years, though. Don't
Yeah.
forget that.
Yeah. Look, let me tell you something, man. Doctor, this was not like for happenstance. I went to a conference one time in Orlando, Florida, and matter of fact, Bishop Noel Jones, you know this. This was some years ago. Bishop Jakes had invited you to Orlando, Florida, and you spoke. I was actually in the audience. And so another time I saw you, but I didn't get a chance to meet you face to face. But I was there and I heard you speak and it blessed me. But while I was there, and they were asking for all of these offerings, and I just didn't feel at the time that it was the right time for me to give. I was just waiting to, kind of be led by the Lord. And there was a pastor in front of me. I didn't know him. And I felt the Lord tell me to give him, to sow into him. And I did that. Actually, God was telling me a number. I went and got less, and I heard the Lord said, no, I told you to get this, to sow this into it. It's a lesson, y'all. When God tells you to give a number, give. All right. And so I sold it to him. He turned around. He said, man, out of all these pastors, out of all these things here, you mean to tell me the Lord picked you to sow into me? I said, yes, sir. I don't know you. We become good friends. He was traveling to Africa for many years. He's been doing what I now do. And I went to his church a number of years ago, and he talked to his people and told them, hey, this guy is the one that sold into me. And because of that seed, we are now having 100 acres, and our goal is to have over 300 acres to be commercial farming so that we can make an impact across the continent of Africa and really change lives. Y'all, I'm telling you, sowing into people is not only a natural thing, but it's a spiritual thing. And so we want to continue to sow into Dr. Evans. I implore you, come on PIC TV. I implore you to sow into this ministry. I'm going to be on a regular guest. We're going to be sowing into this. I'm going to make sure that we continue to do that because we want to make this PIC Network TV one of the best place to come and watch entertainment, to get the word at social issues, social justice. I saw him doing major things like that, to meet different people like Noel Jones and many other big pastors and other folks who are doing things around the world. We plan to bring Africa to you. And we're going to do it on this network right here. So we're going to do that. I'm making that commitment right now to you, Dr. Evans. We're going to bring Africa to you on this network. No other network we're going to do. We're going to bring it here.
Man, I love you so much, man. I knew that, and I've been telling you all week, we're just going to make history when you come on because the chemistry that we have. Doctor, before we go, man, I want you to give some shouts out, man, to some of the family members, friends, I you know, who's seeing you and who going to watch this broadcast. Doctor, you got to give some shouts out.
Sure. Well, let me shout out to, first of all, my church members at Talk Ministries. They have been the backbone of this. You know, when I went to Africa, I preached. We're 8 hours different now, 7 hours difference, and I got up at 3 a.m. They were there. Well, of course, it was 7 o'clock here. They showed up every time while I was there, and if I didn't get on because of some network challenges, they showed up. Every Wednesday, they show up. So I want to give a big shout out. I want to give a big shout out to my brother Solomon. In my transition from being married to now having a divorce, you know, my brother was right there for me. Hey, listen, man, you need a place to stay calm. He is been a really real just a mentor for me. He's my youngest brother, but he loves his children. He has a business here, 2 businesses here. He's just one of the best persons I know, and I love him every time. And then I want to give a big shout out to my sister, my younger sister. She's a year younger than me. Colonel Wendy Rivers, spent 32 years in the military. Just beautiful. Brother Dallas, who was a great mentor, who sold into me, taught me and pushed me and things like that. I want to shout out to Brother Noel Jones, who over the time I began to understand some of the big words that you were saying. I had to get to a dictionary, but I finally caught on. I was there. I want to give shout outs to all of the folks who've come before me, who've laid the road for me to do what I need to do here. And then most importantly, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Evans, because listen, there are a lot of channels. There are a lot of different places you can go. But for God to raise him up, to give people like me a chance to reach the world on another platform, this is very serious. So I want to encourage you, please, if you don't do anything else, every pastor that's going to see me, y'all know who I am. I do not just pick anything to deal with. I don't go on people's shows to find favor, none of those things. I believe God is doing that. But this was favor. 3 years ago, I sold. I didn't call him and tell him, hey, you better get me so-and-so. No. We've grown to love each other over 3 years, and finally, we are here today. Why? Because I believe God deemed it to be. So I ask you right now, I ask you, please, I say to you, as Paul said, I beseech you to come on PIC TV Network, and so that you can continue to enrich Dr. Evans, enrich the station with the things and the talents that God has given you for sure. I want to give a shout out to my mother, Martha Eden, who brought the son up and made sure that I stayed out of trouble. A great mother who raised 3 children by herself. So to Mom, I want to give you a shout out here as well.
Wow, man. Thank you so much, Doc. I mean, man, I knew that you was going to do it, man. I knew there was going to be history. I just knew it. It's just like some things God prepared for. When you cook a good meal, you don't throw it in the microwave. Put it in there, let it simmer a little bit, let it tenderize. And the chemistry we had, man, it was like we've been knowing each other for years, man.
Yeah.
Because we've been communicating and the Spirit connected us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I know your show gonna be amazing, man. You're gonna bring brothers and sisters. Whoever knew when you showed those pictures to have a story? I never knew that, Doc. I never been over there. But now I feel like I'm a part of that history that you're gonna make.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till the brothers and sisters, we link them and come on, man, and have them to come on and tell their story.
Yes, yeah, I think you'll love it. I do want to say that Mother Rose and of course Mother Mary, Mother Terry Mary, which is my two spiritual moms. Let me tell you something about these two women. When you talk about praying for you, and not only praying but sowing into you, making sure that I'm covered, making sure that as a single pastor I don't get in trouble. And when they dream, they call me. Hey, I know that you're doing this or that, and you can't hide. But these two ladies have been a mother to me. They've been a prayer warrior for me. When I step foot on that ground, I feel their prayers as I'm traveling. So, Mother Terry, who will be on in a few minutes and watching me, I thank you so much for loving your son and keeping me. She shows into our ministry. She shows up when I need her. We spend time together where it's talking to you. Just a beautiful, beautiful woman of God and things like that. But for all of you who watch us, for all of you who come and watch Talk Ministry around the world, around the globe, we want to thank you for being with us. And we hope that this is just the beginning. But get ready to come watch us on PIC TV Network. This is where we're going to be at. We're going to launch off from here. Amen.
Thank you so much. Hey, everybody, you've been watching this special presentation today on A Preacher's Life. We're so happy for Reverend Rivers and all that he's doing to touch the world. Get in touch with him. You have his information. And show this over and over again. Let everybody see this broadcast. We'll see you next time on A Preacher's Life. And guess what? He has a brand new show coming on PIC TV Network. And you guys are invited to watch. Shalom.
Get ready to revolutionize your TV experience with PIC TV Network. Imagine tuning into live TV streaming that brings you the best shows right from the heart of Washington, D.C., hosted by the amazing David Evans. Seriously, this is not just another channel, it's your new go-to for entertainment. With PIC TV, you can catch all the excitement as it happens. No more waiting for reruns or scrolling endlessly through boring options. The thrill of live TV is right at your fingertips, and you won't want to miss a single moment. I mean, who doesn't love the feeling of being part of the action, right? Whether you're a news junkie or a show fanatic, PIC TV has something for everyone. So why wait? Dive into the world of live streaming and experience the magic of PIC TV Network. Click that link and let the fun begin.
PIC TV Network virtual studio hours are from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Saturday. Our dedicated team is committed to providing top-notch service and support during these hours to ensure your virtual productions run smoothly. Feel free to reach out to us at 202-505-2837 if you have any questions. We are here to help you succeed in the world of broadcasting. You can watch us on Roku TV channel 1000 Live with 85.5 million subscribers or on YouTube at PIC TV Spotlight. Visit WatchPICTV.com. Thank you for choosing PIC TV Network for your broadcasting needs. Dr. David Evans is your president and TV show creator.